That just happened. Let's crack this thing open. Yeah, guys, that just happened. That just happened. Always wanted one of these. Welcome to Ready Set RC, and today, guys, we have the HPI Savage XL Flux. I've been wanting this truck for I don't know how long, guys, probably since the Nitro edition came out. It is a 60 mile per hour plus vehicle running a 6S capable system. It is brushless powered. The Savage XL is 30 millimeters wider and 60 millimeters longer than the typical Savage. They're touting for this truck, it has the bulletproof gears, big bore shocks, and a billet aluminum motor mount. Big shout out to Nate at RPP Hobby. Got in touch with him, and that is where I ordered this truck from. It was very hard to find, but if you contact them directly, not on their website, but contact them directly via email or a call, they'll go ahead and put a special order in for you. But that's how I got this, and that's how we were able to get this into the studio today. As you're seeing here, the size comparisons between the 10 scale jump shot, the 8 scale Savage X, and then the Savage XL, which is they're saying is a slightly larger 8 scale monster truck. We have some comparisons to some of our other 8 scale monster trucks, and we'll show that on the channel today. For this new model, guys, we have the army green matte color, and it just pops, guys. It really does pop. This truck is ready to run. It's waterproof. It's 4-wheel drive. It comes with a 2.4 gigahertz radio system. This is their Flux edition, which means that it is brushless. This truck has a dual battery setup. We'll show that as we take off the cover. Heavy duty dog bones all around. No CVDs on this truck, guys. Comes with a 150 amp ESC and a 2200 brushless motor. We'll also get into that as we get further into this unboxing. But let's get this Savage XL out of the box and see what it's all about. JT, now I can smell that new car smell, man. I finally am smelling that new car smell right now. Okay, guys, here we are, the HPI Savage XL Flux out of the box, and I have to say, it looks the part, guys. I mean, I have never had a Savage XL Flux before, but I'm really liking what's on the bench today, guys. I just want to go through the boring stuff first, tell you guys what's in the box. Sticker sheet. Same sticker sheet that you get in pretty much every HPI box. Here's the kit card as well. The owner's manual for the controller, the TF41, important information, and the owner's manual. Their owner's manual is usually pretty thick, pretty thorough. Just kind of go through this a little bit with you guys. Talks about the electronics, the battery boxes, even gets down to how to glue the tires to the wheels, blowouts on the truck itself. I mean, it's a pretty extensive owner's manual. I've had these in the past from HPI, and they're usually pretty good. Illustrations are very clear and very neat and easy to follow through. For the battery boxes, they do provide you some foams, some spacers, some more spacers. So you get quite a bit of maintenance stuff for this truck, guys. What you also get is some extra screws, body pins, wheel nuts. You get quite a bit of extra pieces in this bag here, guys. In this bag, you get an extra body post, some shock mount adjusters. You get a 23 tooth and a 24 tooth servo horn. You get some shock retainers, some shock spacers. Looks like and you also get some rod ends, guys. A lot of bits and pieces that you get in this bag right here. You get a lovely little hex tool with this as well. Pretty good. Allen keys and turnbuckle wrench. Something that most RCs are not doing these days. They provide you the 4 AA's for the transmitter. The TF41 transmitter, guys. As I said, this is nothing new. This has been out for some time. It has a antenna on it as well. You have steering trims, throttle trims, bind button, 3rd channel, foam wheel. I mean, this controller's been around for a while. You know, it's nothing. If you've had any HPI over the last 10 years or so, you've seen this controller, you're familiar with this controller. It's been around for quite some time. The 4 AA's go in there, and you also have the tool to adjust the trims here. You have reverse switches up here in the front. Nothing new, but it works. But let's get into the HPI Savage XL Flux. This is what you guys are here to see today. And let's look at this body, guys. This is a new paint scheme for the 2021 Savage Flux XL. I wish I could compare this to other Savage's bodies, but this thing feels pretty firm, guys. It's gonna take a good beating. I'm not sure how it'll hold up in regards to cracks, but it's a pretty thick compound. This is thick. This is pretty thick. Let's see how it does, but the body feels really good in the hands, guys. This really does feel pretty good. As for the tire compound, it feels pretty good, guys. I thought I remember a lot of people talking about on previous HPI Savages is that the tires were very soft and prone to ballooning. I'm not saying that these won't be, but they definitely feel, oh, they feel the part, guys. They definitely feel the part. Let's see how these hold up on the first bash. In regards to the suspension, I will say mine felt oversprung. And a lot of that had to do with, after taking out these preloads, I took out these preloads all around front and rear. And I have to say it does feel a lot better now, guys, a lot better. This is how I like my basher set up. Before it was just too oversprung, very, very hard. These are dual spring shocks, so you know I think it was just way too much on this for this truck. At least the way how mine is set up out of the box. Taking it out, it does feel a lot better now. The one thing I noticed on this truck as I was going over and I was checking everything out is that there is a mixture of hex and Phillips screw heads on this truck. Not sure why they went with that kind of setup where there's a difference between the two different screws. I mean, I would have preferred, I prefer hexes all around, but if you're gonna do Phillips, just make it Phillips everywhere. That's kind of like what Kyosho does. They put Phillips all around. I remember seeing on one of the tips from Gary from Killer Off-Road Hobbies, he mentioned, you know, one of the first things you want to do on this truck is take some zip ties and just tie them tight right here. And I see why. Because these bumper supports that are on here are holding the hinge pins, the upper hinge pins that are on this truck, and they are easily swayed, you know, from one side to the other. So I will be putting a zip tie to hold these two and in the rear together, because after that, it's all free will for those hinge pins here on the top. I mean, I'm not seeing anything else holding them back. But now I see why he said that. Going, as I said, going from front to back, we have the bumper here, some pretty good retention and movement on there. Looks like it's gonna hold up to some pretty good beating. Looking at the front shocks, you have, as I said before, you have the dual spring shocks on here. You do have shock retainers to allow you to adjust the height of the shock. I'm seeing that there is no adjustments on the suspension arms down below. None whatsoever. There's only the one there. And on the uppers, you have 3 adjustments on the uppers, guys. As for your body post, you do have some adjustments on the body post to raise it up or down. Camber in the front, there is 0 adjustment. It is fixed. Your toe in and out, there is a turnbuckle there. You should be able to make those adjustments. I did some caliber measurements on it. It's a 4mm link that's on there. As for the front driveline, you have dog bones in the front. These are 5mm in the front on the dog bone. You have a TVP chassis on this truck, guys. These are 3mm twin vertical plates going on each side of the truck. Affixed to those, you have the battery trays on each side. The battery trays, to open them up, there is a twist lock. You push the straps down, and then the top opens to you. It is a very generous battery tray that is on this truck, guys. But that's all to get into your batteries, is to twist the lock and to put it back on. twist it back on again, and you're good. You have a 43 tooth metal spur gear on this truck. This is a slipper clutch design. There is no center differential. That comes off to dog bones in the front and the rear for the center drive shaft, with an out drive coming off to the front and in the rear. Back to the rear now, we have a plastic shock tower, more height adjustments for the body mounts on the rear, and dual spring systems on the shocks on the rear. Once again, for the rear, we have fixed links when it comes to the camber, no camber adjustments, 5mm dog bones in the rear too, and we have toe in and toe out adjustments in the rear. Bumper in the rear, the zip ties, I would suggest putting zip ties in the rear as well. Looks like the same movement you get on the rear for that bumper mount is there as well. I'm looking at the support arms and they seem pretty beefy. Let's see if we can get a measurement on these support arms. .8 is what I'm seeing on the support arm. That's pretty beefy. Wow, let's see if we see the same on the rear. Yep, same in the rear. I'm seeing that the size of the support arms in the front and the rear, they are exactly the same. I'm just looking at them now. As I said, this is my first HPI Savage Flux, and I'm looking at the support arms, just trying to really take them in. Yeah, they look symmetrical, meaning that I can use the front support arms in the rear just by flipping them. As for the servo, we have an SS40WP servo on this. We'll have to see how that servo performs, but from what I'm seeing here, the way that it's moving just on the bench, moving it around, I don't think I'm gonna have an issue with that. We'll see how it performs out in the field, but we have a 150 amp ESC. If I had to look at it and guess, it looks like it could be a rebranded Hobby Wing ESC on this. It does have Deans connected to this right now. I will be swapping these out with my XT90 connectors. To the motor, we have a 2200 kV motor, and the motor mounts on this is one of the items that they're saying is fairly new. This is a 7mm mount that's on this, and it does seem pretty beefy, guys. And that motor too does look like it is a rebranded Hobby Wing motor. We'll you know, and if it is the 2200 kV, that's a very powerful motor in this truck, guys. This truck, looking at this setup, if that's 150 amp ESC and the 2200 kV motor, power is not going to be your problem on this truck. Just looking underneath the chassis and trying to get an idea of everything. Once again, I'm going to take my caliber. Yeah, looking at the dog bones for the center drive shaft, they're about 4.7 in the front and in the rear on this truck. Plastic skid plates in the front and in the rear on this truck as well. Two things I bought for this truck just before I do the first run, I'm waiting for those to come in, is the 17mm adapters for this truck. I cannot find anywhere the 17mm adapters from HPI, so I went with some Integy ones. I'm waiting for those to come in, and I'm going to fasten those up onto the truck. And then the other thing that I got for this, and everything that I've ever seen, any video I've ever seen with this truck, it's gonna wheelie, guys. It's gonna wheelie for days. So I went ahead and I ordered up a wheelie bar for this truck too. Can't wait till that comes in. When both of them come in, I'll mount those up, post some pics on Instagram, and we'll get this thing out in some dirt. But next up, let's get this truck compared to a couple of the other trucks we have here at Ready Set RC. So all right guys, here we go. We have the Losi 3XLE right here. And on this one, once again, we have the HPI Savage Flux XL. These to me are some of the larger 8-scale trucks out there. I say they're definitely larger. Not only are they larger by wheelbase, but they're also just larger trucks because of how they stand and everything else. So I would say that always, for me, this was always the comparison when I'm thinking of these trucks in regards to sizes, is how they match up. I'm looking at the wheelbases, and I'll show you guys a shot of that too. The wheelbases are identical on these trucks. They're pretty much identical. Here we are, guys, with the trucks on top of each other, Savage XL Flux. and we have the 3XLE, the Losi 3XLE. What I want you guys to notice is the insides of the trucks. Do not look at the outsides of the tire, because these are definitely wider tires on the 3XLE, but look at the inners parts of the two, and you can see they match up identical. If the two trucks are almost spot on. And that's why I say the size comparisons to the two trucks, in my views, they were always battling it out when it comes for sizes and the market, and just for the type of drivers and people that are out there. These trucks were always going at it. And you can see what I went with. I actually have a double XL 2E, and that is why I never bought a Savage before this. And then now, later on came the 3XLE. Here we are, guys, with another view of the wheelbases of the two trucks. As you can see once again, and I'll just tick that just a little. Spot on. And these are smaller tires that are on the HPI, but you guys can see it. I don't need to say any more. Let's get another truck out here so you guys can see more size comparison. Here we are, guys, once again, Armor Creighton Savage XL. And you guys can see ride height differences. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a lower slung truck. This is a truggy style monster truck. They call these buggies. This is more of a true style monster truck you have over here with the Savage XL. But you guys can clearly see the height differences between the two trucks. In regards to wheelbases, this Savage XL is very slightly longer than the Creighton on this truck. And this is the V3 Creighton. Dimensions on the Creightons from the beginning of time to now has not changed. So if you have a V5 Creighton, same size. So just to show you that this is a slightly bigger truck in regards to wheelbase than a Creighton. Width-wise, I want you guys to take that in again. Here we are with the Creighton on the bottom, Savage XL on the top. You guys can clearly see, once again, looking at the inners, that the Savage is a more narrow truck compared to a truggy style monster truck, guys. And now you guys can see a little bit better on another angle of how much longer the wheelbase is of the Savage XL Flux. It's very deceiving when you see this in the studio or by itself, that you would think that it is not that large of a 8-scale monster truck, but when you see it compared to some other trucks, you get a better idea that this thing is pretty big. I even thought that when I first saw it pulling it out of the box, I was like, hey, this doesn't seem as big as some of my other 8-scale monster trucks, but when I compare them to other trucks, yeah, guys, it's a pretty big truck. All right, guys, the last comparison that we have, and I can't even get this fully in frame because the X-Max is just large and in charge. This body is new. I know you guys who have seen this truck have seen it with the black body, with my Jurassic Park body, and I recently picked up this body from Jenny's RC. Just wanted something that matched the little guy with it, so I've got a red one with it. So if you guys are looking at it, it's not a new X-Max, it's just a new body. So here we have the X-Max with the Savage Flux XL, and you guys can see the difference. I'm not even gonna do this one for long because you guys can see it compared to a true 6-scale monster truck. Just looks like a little baby, guys. It's on the larger slide, but it's still an 8-scale monster. Yep, and that's it, guys. This is the last angle I'm gonna show you in regards to the Savage XL Flux with the Traxxas X-Max down below. Yeah, that's a big truck, guys, just a big truck. But this is pretty big in its own respect. It is a pretty large 8. Clearly see now what that looks like compared to a 6-scale monster truck. But that's it, guys. We've done an unboxing, an overview, and a comparisons of the HPI Savage Flux XL. Next up for this, let's get these adapters swapped out, the wheelie bar on the back, and get this thing into some dirt. That's what you guys want to see. We want to see how this performs out in the world and see how it does. But please like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video out, guys. That's what gets the channel known and gets the channel pumping out on YouTube. Hit the bell so you get the latest notifications, because what we're doing now at the time of this video is changing up the timing of when I'm posting the videos out. Currently the format is I post videos out on Sundays and Thursdays, but we're shaking things up. I'm going to be posting videos a little bit more often. As you guys probably have noticed, that there's been 3 videos a week with a lot of content up on the community channel. So for you guys who are not subscribed, I would advise you to do so, because you're seeing more content in the community channel where we're doing a lot more conversations. So you're gonna miss out if you're not on there. But check us out on Instagram, because that's where we post the most recent content of the channel. I post a lot of stuff early prior to posting it up on YouTube. YouTube requires me to do a lot more editing, a lot more work. So what I do is I post the videos up, I post information up in Instagram, and then those guys see content sometimes 2 to 3 weeks before I even post up on YouTube. Fortunately for me, I have a day job. I work 14-hour days, so you know, for the most time, if I could get something up on Instagram, it's where I can post things up quickly. So you'll see more content of this truck and other vehicles on Instagram. So if you guys are Instagram, go ahead and check us out. It's at the end of this video. You'll see where we are on Instagram. But this is Ready Set RC signing out. Thanks again, guys.